The United Healthcare CEO was assassinated in downtown and basically in Times Square, New York. There was the manhunt, and even before they caught this guy, the left was like thirsty over this guy. It was kind of insane, right? So, and ironic because like now they're jumping on and talking about how we should ban guns, but yet they were basically justifying and celebrating this guy shooting the United Healthcare CEO, and then he gets caught. And so, if you guys haven't seen, this is the person that did it. A lot of talk has been about healthcare companies in general. It was really, I mean, so there was the big thing because of who he assassinated, right? They were basically praising it because they're like, insurance companies are so high, insurance premiums are so high, insurance companies are evil things. That's what they're all saying, right? I'm going to tell you right now, murder is never justified, ever. The moment that our society starts to praise or justify shootings is the moment we really start to see an end to a civilized society. It really is giving off French Revolution, eat the rich type vibes, which I guess is very indicative of the left. But this is not where we want to go, and it's not even just leftist. I'm going to tell you this: it's not even leftist. I've seen libertarians giving the same attitude, which they're the left libertarians. So that tells you a little bit more about their leanings, where they came from, the woke left, the communist left. That big business bad, corporation bad, killing CEOs is justified in their opinion because of they turn down payments and all this stuff. Like, look, our healthcare system is far from perfect. What people don't understand, our healthcare system was made incredibly worse when Obamacare was passed. At the time, we were warning people that with the passage of Obamacare, it would make insurance premiums rise. And it was meant to do that as a means to usher in a single payer healthcare system similar to what they have in Canada. And I'm just going to say that there was if you want to see what happens in a Canadian healthcare system, we had a person who I had seen his name popping up in my feed every so often. I hadn't followed him yet, but it was getting to that point where I actually had seen his stuff quite a bit. But he was Canadian, and he went to the hospital, waited there for hours, said he had a health scare. When they determined that he wasn't dying, they put him into the waiting room for 3 hours or 6 hours, and then at that point he just decided to go home. Unfortunately, he ended up passing away. And so, again, if he had been in the US and had our emergency healthcare system, probably wouldn't have happened. But that is the Canadian healthcare system. That is what happens under single payer. You don't have the volume or quality of care that you have under the system that we have. Unfortunately, our system is broken because they broke it. It was broken before Obamacare, but then it was made even worse since Obamacare. Obamacare raised premiums and caused a lot of these issues for the health industry. And we'll look a little bit further into this. So first off, let's listen to what AOC has to say on the matter.
Taken from a diagnosis. And I think that this collective American experience, which is so twisted to have in the wealthiest nation in the world, all of that pain that people have experienced is being concentrated on this event. And it's really important that we take a step back. This is not to comment, and this is not to say that an act of violence is justified. But I think for anyone who is confused or shocked or appalled, they need to understand that people interpret and feel and experience denied claims as an act of violence against them. People go homeless over the financial devastation of a diagnosis that doesn't get addressed, or the amount that they're going to have to cover with a surprise bill and things like that. And when we kind of talk about how systems are violent in this country, in this passive way, our privatized.
This is literally she says this isn't to justify violence, but she is justifying it. She's doing exactly what she said she wasn't going to do, and I mean, it's the old cliche, right? When you say something, but then say "but" right after it, usually anything before the "but" is disregarded, because she's trying to again say that our healthcare system is criminal. Now, I've done videos on here about how we should be allowed to buy into health savings accounts without having a plan. But again, the Affordable Care Act is what caused this issue. In order, you have to have a low deductible plan to be able to buy into a health savings account. Well, if you're somebody like me who works as a contractor, works for myself, then so if you're somebody like me, like I said, yeah, if you work for yourself, I can't buy into a collective health insurance company. So because I don't need like a full plan, I just need a health savings account where I can invest into my own money. I can invest pre-taxed into a savings account that you can actually invest into mutual funds and grow from there, and it grows tax-free. I would rather do that than even have anybody come in and say that they can deny a claim of mine. Our system is, I mean, people that don't understand how healthcare works are the ones that are justifying this. And if you allow something like this to happen, and then you go out there and you say, well, this is, we're gonna actually take a look at the grievances that this person had. That is terrorism. That person has now terrorized you into doing exactly what they want. That is letting terrorists win. So this isn't the time to be talking about this. You can't, it is justifying the actions. Bureaucrats aren't denying. So Cat on X says, yeah, it makes no sense to let bureaucrats deny a doctor's order. But that's the thing, is bureaucrats aren't denying doctors' orders here in the US. You actually get bureaucrats denying doctors' orders in other countries where they have a single payer healthcare system, right? So if you have a single payer healthcare system, like again, Canada, and the government doesn't want to fund a procedure because it's too expensive, they won't. Or because because you're too old and they don't think that it will be beneficial for you to receive that procedure, they won't pay for it. And what you're seeing in countries like Canada and other countries around the world, that's why you're seeing like MAIDS programs popping up, because they don't want to pay for these procedures. So if you have an issue, they say, oh, you want this done? Well, have you thought about going to our MAIDS program where they will help you commit suicide? That's what's happening in those countries. Yeah, see, we were on the same page. Thanks. Yeah. as you were typing it as I said it. Yeah, now they have maids. That's exactly what happens in those countries. Remember when we there was this whole thing. The leftists used to make fun of conservatives for talking about like death panels and stuff, and then we ended up start seeing death panels starting to come up and pop up around the world. The bureaucrats will actually determine what people are paying for and what they aren't paying for, what they will and will not pay for. One of the interesting things here is this clip is actually pretty good. Whoopi Goldberg describes it actually perfectly. Watch.
There are things we can fool with and things we can't. Healthcare is one of those things that you shouldn't be able to fool with. And insurance companies who you pay, I pay into my insurance, you pay into your insurance. I don't understand. If I don't go to the hospital for a whole year, where's my money? Why don't you give me the money back? Then you don't have to worry about it. Because I feel like, I said this, okay.
We got Bill coming on.
I know we got Bill coming. But
okay, so Tim Young is right. Whoopi has no idea how health insurance works. So let me explain it to you, Whoopi. If you would even pay attention to the show, let me explain it to you. Health insurance in and of itself, any insurance, is a big pool of money. Everybody puts their money into that pool of money, into that pot. So it makes everybody's premiums lower. So they are actually banking on a large portion of that pot to be healthy people that aren't going to use their insurance. Because then other people have to use that insurance to pay for their bills. So say there's 10 of us and we all pay $1,000 in, and 9 of us are healthy, and we all pay $1,000 in. So that's what, 100,000. Wait, 10 of us, we all pay $1,000 in. That's $10,000. Say we're all 9 of us are healthy, but one of us gets a $9,000 bill. So all of us basically pay that $9,000 bill. That's how insurance works. It's a big pool of money. And what you're banking on is that when you get older and as you become, or if you get sick, then the other people will be able to cover down, or they'll get more people in that will help pay for you. I mean, that's why there's a lot. That's why like businesses, when it works through your employer, because the business is able to create an entire collective of everybody in your company, along with other people from other companies. It's a big mass pool of money where it's mostly healthy people that are paying into it. And that's how it works. That's why you don't get your money back. It literally works just like the United States tax system. We all pay into a system, and then we pay welfare to the lowest common denominator, right? Like that's how the U.S. taxpayer system comes. We don't get our money back at the end of the year if we don't use it. That's not how it works. They are using it, and so it's kind of the same. It's kind of the same deal. It's how all health insurance works. What she is describing. Now, there are health insurance companies that you can buy into. I've seen some where they are like co-ops, right? So it can be like a Christian co-op. So if you're a member of like churches, your church could literally have a big pool of money to pay out like a GoFundMe account for everybody who it's basically a GoFundMe account for everybody who is in that church, and they just kind of stack the money, and when somebody gets sick and needs to pull from it, they pull from it. What Whoopi is describing is essentially an health savings account, which is exactly what I want, right? And I bet you, see, this is the thing, I bet you Whoopi doesn't even have health insurance because she's rich, so she just pays for it out of pocket, because it would actually make no sense for her to actually have health insurance because she has the money to pay cash for it. There's no reason to take money out of like her check every week to pay for healthcare when she can just pay for it out of pocket. It's cheaper if you pay for it out of pocket like that. This is what they also don't tell you, is the way that the health coding system works is they will charge my insurance. So say I go to the doctors, and if I was to be paying cash out of pocket and I was only going to pay like $100, they would end up charging my insurance company $1,000 if that was the case. And so then my insurance company may charge me $120 copay. So this is the thing is, a lot of times it's actually cheaper if you just pay cash out of pocket to the doctor rather than paying through your insurance. But the moment that you tell them that you actually have insurance, they're going to go through your insurance and you're going to have to pay more. They don't tell you, like, there's a lot of this really fucked up stuff when it comes to insurance, yes. But like if you're paying out of pocket, a lot of times it's really crazy. It's cheaper. So what Whoopi is actually describing would be a good system if she actually learned how health savings accounts actually work. Health savings accounts. So if you don't know about health savings accounts, so generally this is where I wish we could just have a health savings account without the requirement of a low deduct or a high deductible plan. So in a health savings account, you have to have insurance, but you have to have a high deductible plan. So your deductible would be like $5,000 for the year, right? Well, if you pay, so but then what's good about the health savings accounts are actually better than 401ks, because what happens, your employer takes your contribution out before taxes. So before they pay your taxes, they take your contribution out, and then your money grows tax-free like a Roth IRA. You can actually put it into mutual funds to grow like a Roth IRA. And as long as you remain healthy and you don't pull from it, generally what it's there for is when you retire at 65, you start pulling out. Like if you have health issues, you can actually start pulling out for health reasons. When you're older, you're going to need more health, like more procedures and stuff like that. So you have the money in your HSA to pay for it. It's very simple. I mean, so you're not pulling out of your retirement funds, you're pulling out of your health savings account. But at the same time, you can use from your health savings account at any time. It will continue to grow tax-free, and you can use it tax-free at any time as long as you're using it on medical procedures. So again, like, why wouldn't we be wanting everybody on a health savings account? If like you're a young this is the thing. If you're a young, then this is why they do it. So if you're a young, healthy person, you don't really, I'm not giving health advice, but you don't necessarily need health insurance because you're young and healthy. I mean, you have insurance in case something happens, like say you get into an accident or something like that. That's why you have insurance. But if you're young and healthy, you generally can take the risk, but they don't. But see, the health insurance companies are banking on those young and healthy people to pay the insurance, to pay off the older people, or the people that actually have other conditions. They're actually banking on those people, the young and healthy people, to pay for the other people's procedures. So that's what Whoopi's not understanding here, and that's how health insurance actually works. Yeah, you're right. Kat says gives the responsibility to the individual. I think as somebody who's very individual, I would rather be paying for my own health insurance very much. I am young, I'm healthy, and I would rather just have paying into it myself. Now, if you want to join the collective, collectives in general are a communist idea, right? But if you want to join the collective, go join the collective, and that's fine. You can do that. You can opt in to do that. This is why actually in Obamacare, they tried to make it a mandate that they would actually penalize you via taxes if you didn't have insurance, because they needed to force everybody into there to be able to pay for everybody that had pre-existing conditions. So again, Obamacare is the reason why why a lot of this stuff happened. And actually, Senator Mike Lee nails it. Says dealing with health insurers has become increasingly frustrating. The frustration would be far less severe if the U.S. government hadn't severely limited consumer choice in healthcare through Obamacare and other programs. The government makes healthcare less affordable, not more. Yes. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, we'll see what happens in the next administration. How we'll change this, but I mean, Trump said he's going to keep Obamacare unless he can find a suitable alternative, and let's hope he can find a suitable. If anything, keep Obamacare, but change the restrictions and allow people to get health savings accounts. Like that would be the number one thing that we should be doing. Like give us health savings accounts. I would love as a self-employed person to just buy into a health savings account. Because right now I'm banking on the VA. Everything else I pay out of pocket. If I'm banking on the VA for emergencies, but everything else is out of pocket. Like that's it. But yeah. I want to play this clip for you because this shares exactly the notion that we're talking about.
The precise moment I no longer was a Democrat.
Raise your hand if your government plan would provide coverage for undocumented immigrants. Okay.
That was the precise moment that I knew I was leaving the Democratic Party. Because I was a 2-time bone cancer survivor. I voted for Obama-Biden based on Obamacare. And when it was implemented in 2010, I ended up losing my insurance. I went from an insurance plan that was $185 a month with a $1,000 deductible to that policy being canceled because it no longer met the requirements.
If you wanted to keep your policy, you can.
And I was left
right.
Cheapest option being $1,200 a month, $6,000 deductible. $185 a month, $1,000 deductible to $1,200 a month, $6,000 deductible. I went 10 years without insurance, and I was penalized each year because I could no longer afford insurance. And in 2016, every single Democrat candidate up on that debate stage raised their hand and said they would give illegals free health care. While me, as a 2-time bone cancer survivor, lost mine. Didn't have insurance for 10 years, and I was supposed to get CT scans, chest x-rays, and all these other tests done every 6 months to ensure my cancer didn't come back. And they wanted to give illegals free health care. That was the exact moment I was no longer a Democrat.
Yeah, that's what happened under Obamacare. Remember the whole, if you like your plan, you can keep your plan? Well, this guy just told you that was a complete lie. That was a complete lie. And it made health insurance more expensive. Prime example. And he's obviously not the only person. This is a wide range issue. It's not easy to get good health insurance now.